Hey there, Artificer Austin here. Sorry about how messy my workbench is currently, but I thought I'd show you a little trick that I like to use. You see, oftentimes when I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons or Magic, I usually 3D print a lot of my miniatures. But not everybody has access to a 3D printer, and sometimes you need things that are pretty quick. Additionally, every now and then I find that I got a lot of magazines, such as paper copies of the Game Informer, stacking up. And you don't want to quite just throw them in the trash, because, waste not, want not. So I figured I'd show you a fun way to convert your old magazines into fun little tokens and figures that you can use for any of your tabletop gaming needs. So the first thing that you're going to need are a couple small bases. They come in plastic, wood. I was able to buy this bag of various sizes, and there's quite a few in there on Amazon for only about $10. So relatively cheap. Definitely a budget option. I figured today we would make one of each size that was in the bag. We have a small one, large, more of a huge creature size if you want to go D&D based, medium for your basic creatures, and about a horse right there. Feels like a horse. So to hurry this up a little bit, I went ahead and I looked in the magazine and I dog-eared a page that's going to have a good selection of different characters. I'm not sure exactly what video game this is that's coming out, but right now we're just going to be using it as crafting material. You know what, we'll go ahead and get a pair of scissors for this. First things first, just go ahead and cut out the page that you're going to be using. Just go ahead and keep, it doesn't have to be clean, it just has to be somewhat nice around the areas where you're going to be cutting. Now you can technically use the scissors to cut out the circles that you're going to be attaching to your bases, but I find that using an X-Acto knife is much more, well, exact. And as such, it should probably be the thing that you use. They're relatively cheap, only a couple bucks at any general store you go to, be it Walmart, Target, anything like that. Now, one important thing that you're going to want to have, it could be any writing utensil really, but what I prefer is a more fine-tipped permanent marker. Here we're going to be using a basic Sharpie. So let's start off with the large. This possum looking guy right here. You're just going to place it down, draw your little circle, and then if you want to, you can even take your X-Acto knife and right here just cut down. Make sure you have some kind of board or something underneath of it that's going to protect your table, because while mine is plastic and cheap, you might have something a bit nicer. And the last thing, wow, I really should have sharpened this or replaced the blade before I got started here. That being said, it's doing its job. Alrighty, so now that that is cut, at least for the most part, we're still hanging on by a couple of strings there. Get that little circle off. Take your piece, make sure that it's going to fit well. Obviously it is. Take a little bit of glue, and really any kind of glue can work, anything cheap. I have right here some super glue. That's just because I've been putting together a lot of Warhammer miniatures recently. Go ahead and just put a healthy little amount on there. Lay it flat, as exact as you can. And that should stick almost immediately right to there. And then if you just take a look at that, that's a little miniature that not 3D or anything, but if you're in a pinch and you don't have a lot of money, that's just a great little substitute that you can use for your weekend D&D games. Additionally, like I said, you can use it for games like Magic the Gathering and the like, if you have any tokens or anything like that. And it doesn't have to just be characters. And you can even make them double-sided. Now, I'm not going to be making this one double-sided. I might at a future point. But just for right now, that's a fun little character right there. And we don't have to waste our magazines. It's recycling and all that. So let's go ahead and do the cat lady here. Now this one, as opposed to the knife, I'm going to go ahead and use the scissors, just to show that you don't have to use any like dedicated craft tools. You can do this immediately at home if you would like to. We have the Sharpie on there, so we'll take her. Hopefully your hands are much steadier than mine are. Because, yikes, this is not going to be a great circle. Alrighty, doesn't fit on there great, but it's good enough for government work. Put some glue. And place your rogue Catwoman. Mess it up like I did. And replace it. Boom. And that is on the medium size there. I apologize for my lighting being bad. You know, you could have your little Tabaxi rogue, you could be a cat token in Magic the Gathering. There's a lot you could do there. Go ahead and put that right here. And now for the one I was excited about, the big boy. Looks like we got a big bear guy up here and some power armor. Place that there. Pop off our Sharpie. Now let's try and do this one without the little circle covering it. As I said, I don't have the best dexterity, but I do my best. You know what? The important part is knowing where your pressure is, as far as the paper goes. Because if it starts to get loose and fold, that's where you're going to have the tears, because the knife isn't gliding through. Take a little look. See? Perfect right there. It's all about knowing where to put your fingers, so that way the paper stays tight. Don't be afraid to cut off little chunks as soon as you get through there, just to keep it moving. You're always going to want to pull from a point that isn't cut, as opposed to starting the cut where you already have an opening, because often those will tear your edges pretty bad. We're just about done there. Just remember, it's better to complete the cut than to continue the cut. And with that, we have one little perfect bear cutout. Some little spirals on here for glue. and gently line up and place your image. And there you go. One large bear token, one medium-sized bobcat aristocrat, and one small cat rogue. I'll pull these up to the camera a bit so you can have a slightly better look. But overall, I just find this a fun way to save a little bit of money, have a little bit of extra options at your D&D table, even if you don't have the time to, say, print out a large dragon or something like that. I still need to base this guy. But just a fun project if you have a couple of magazines that you need to get rid of but don't quite want to throw away. And maybe $10 to spend on a big old bag of bases. That's going to be all this time. Thank you very much, and have a good one.